Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly with this week's review. Oh, let me put on a hat so you don't think I recorded last week's and then this week's at the same time and just put on a hat so you wouldn't realize that I recorded them the same time and wearing the same Spider-Man shirt. Anyway, Late Night with the Devil. It's streaming exclusively on Shudder. It was a big hit, and by that $10 million over a limited release, and a lot of people loved it, and I couldn't get to see it, but thanks to Brandon Griffith, that's a thank you for him for something he did for me. But anyway, watch it on Shudder. Here's the plot of Late Night with the Devil. Jack Delroy is basically a night show host, like the Tonight Show. There were so many of them that were on at the same time, not just Johnny Carson, but others as well. And he's kind of struggling. He kind of hit it high, and then over the last few years, this is what's happened. And he's trying to get his sweeps. It's Monday of Sweeps Week in 1977. And Sweeps Week, if you all don't know, and some of you are going to be too young, is when they would really try to go all out, networks trying to beat each other, and they're trying to get those Nielsen ratings from those Nielsen boxes. And a lot of this is way too complicated to go in here, and if you don't understand any of this, that's fine too. It's just the way they used to track stuff, not so much anymore with streaming, right? He brings on a little girl midway through the show who was part of a cult, who was raised in a cult, and the lady who was working with her, the psychiatrist, they all think she's possessed. That's the plot of Late Night with the Devil, but it's so much more. It's funny. I was reading some history of this, and the two brothers that directed this are Colin and Cameron Cairns. The reason they picked 1977 was because it takes place on a Monday night, and only Sweeps Week that was on during a Monday was in 1977. It was like, oh well, that fits it. This movie is superbly acted. The opening 20 minutes to it are absolutely positively written just for me, as far as, oh my goodness, this works so well. This is so kind of my movie. You got to remember the time period in the 70s and especially the early 80s where everybody was obsessed with Satanism. 70s, and I mean, Geraldo even did a special about this in the early 80s. I can remember hiding behind the couch and my mom was watching it. And everybody was obsessed with these cults and Satanism, and Satanism was coming after your children. We get something different these days. The issue is it's a little low budget, but you don't really see it because of the way it's shot, like a show. And when it cuts, it's in black and white in between. And this is just a star-making performance by an actor named David Dastmalchian. Actually, I found out was a huge fan of horror hosts, and he plays the Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad in other movies. But he's fantastic in this. He's perfectly cast. In fact, everybody in this movie is perfectly cast. There's only one kind of problem with this movie. It's the last 20 minutes. And I know everybody's like, oh, Joe Lewis, the third act. No, it's like, I'm trying to think of the movie. It's very much like Hereditary. In that last 20 minutes, if you've seen Hereditary, you're either on board with it or you're not, because the movie they've been building this whole time, the tone switches dramatically especially that last 10, 15 minutes. There's blood, there's gore, there's guts, and you don't see a lot of that. I'm not giving anything away till that last 15 minutes. And some of you are not going to like the explanation. Some of it is left to your imagination, and they kind of give you hints of why this happened. It's not going to work for all of you. Some of you are going to walk away mad. I started reading some of the reviews, and some of the people, this is stupid. I hated the last. I was like, I get it. It does. They went out on a limb. But if you can take the time to do this, please watch. Please, hi Q. Thank you, son. If you got time and you got Shutter, check out Late Night with the Devil. I highly recommend it. It's really good. But some of you, that last 10 to 20 minutes, Quentin, some of you, it's really good. That last 10, 15 minutes is going to be dividing, maybe even the last 20.